says we're live. If you're just joining us, I'm trying to figure out this thing. And I don't know if I have yet. But we'll try it. We've been live for a minute. Okay. I see. I see Eric here. Trying to figure out how to add him. Oh, I see. All right. If I can find the link, I can post that. There we go. You want to go there to StreamYard, and then you can join me. So hopefully, Eric, if you see that, you get the invite. And there's, oh shit, there's Eric.
Oh shit, we're here.
Awesome possum. Oh my God, it's working. I've done this literally one time, and I'm like, I think this is how you do it.
We can just call this a test run. It's fine.
And I don't even I'm looking at my channel. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm live. We are live. This is working. Great.
Yeah, I think you're good because I see you on the YouTube, and yeah, I think it's working.
Awesome possum. All right, now all we need is some Christian nutbags to show up and tell us why we have no morality.
Yeah, I think I've done more than a few live streams on my channel, and I haven't done it in like a year or so, but it's changed so much now. Like I think vertical format is really popular now. So like you can see like folks like Justin from Deconstruction Zone, they'll do like a simul stream where they're having like a horizontal stream to their main channel, and then they have like a vertical stream to a different channel, and he'll pull in like 1,000 people per stream. So like a total of 2,000 people. Yeah. Because apparently vertical streaming is like really popular these days.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm just like normally what I do is, I'll debate somebody on like a Twitter space and just record it. And then, like make the highlight reel for my YouTube channel. So I'm not used to the live space stuff yet, and like you can see, like you've got your picture there. For some reason, my picture isn't even working.
Yeah, you got the OBS default there, I guess.
And I've clicked on edit avatar. I should be a sea otter right now, but I don't know.
I think it's OBS. I think OBS is actually like streaming video, even though you have it probably disabled. So I think maybe if you go to StreamYard and say, hey, don't show video, it might default to your PFP.
Oh, okay. I'm clicking on it. I'm trying to figure that out. Well, I'll keep messing with it, but
yeah, it's fine.
But thanks for coming, man. It's good to see you. I'm a huge fan of the line, as I told you before.
Yeah.
And you were nice enough to share with me like a little bit of insight. And this happens a lot. Like everybody that I bump into, where I'm like, oh, I'd love to be involved with the project they're up to. How did you get that? And it was like, oh, I was at a cocktail party and the guy bumped into me,
Yeah, that's how it goes. It's like I was just in the right place at the right time and I fell into it. Yeah. I didn't expect it to happen, but it did. So
nice.
Yeah. But I think I told you the other night though, like the line is growing and we are looking for, more content creators. I think if you can get like like post a really good interaction between you and like a theist on your YouTube channel. And that could be potentially something we can like show to Jimmy, and Jimmy might say, hey, yeah, you know what? I want this guy to have a tryout or whatever. And you never know. So that's an aspiration. Just put up something that shows your ability, and who knows?
Yeah, I sent him. I guess I could be more specific, but I just sent him a link to like my YouTube page.
Yeah.
Because I've got close to 200 videos where,
Oh, okay.
most of them are, debates that I've had with people. And then I, make a little highlight reel and have my own little commentary about that.
Yeah. 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 What's your, do you have like a favorite video that you can like showcase?
That's a really good question.
You like a video that says, yeah, this is me in my prime. Like I'm an apex predator here, like nomming on a Christian.
Let me, you know what? Do you have an email I can send that to?
Yeah. Skeptics and scoundrels at gmail.com. And skeptics and scoundrels. So just like my name right there on the screen, just instead of an ampersand, it's just AND. Yeah. And I can always forward over to Jimmy. I can't promise what he'll do after that, but I can always say, hey, I did forward it to him. So. Oh dear, am I alone? Did something happen? Hello? Korak? Oh no, I'm in charge now. That's not good. That's not good at all. It's a one-man show. I don't even own the channel. Oh my God, this is terrible.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Hey, there you go. Okay. Oh my God. I was panicking there. I was like, whoa, I'm like solo flying on a channel that's not even mine. Oh my God.
That was 10 seconds of me like I was the dog in the car who knows he's going to the vet. I'm like, wait, well, what? Oh shit. Ah.
Oh my God. Hey, at least you got your PFP up there, at least. I see your you got a furry, it's like a furry bard. Yeah.
I clicked on the thing and it was like, yeah, edit avatar, and it turned my mic off. And that's when I heard the hello, what's going on? I'm like, oh God damn it. No. Like, yeah. It was funny is that's fan art. Like somebody sent me that, and I was like, you know what? Sea otters are cool. I could be a sea otter bard. That'll be my little persona.
My wife really, really loves sea otters. Like we live in Seattle and in the Seattle area rather, and you go down to the Seattle Aquarium and they got like 2 sea otters down there, and they're pretty cool. They're really big and scary up front. Like you look at them, you're like, whoa, that sea otter is way bigger than I expected. Like he could fuck me up if you really wanted to. I would not want to be in an enclosure with him by myself.
It wasn't until I saw Zootopia where I was like, oh yeah, they are predators. Like they could fuck up a caiman pretty bad.
They're carnivores. Like I would not want to be alone in a room with one of them. That's really scary.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So the otter bard, is that like a D&D like fantasy type inspiration there? Or?
Oh yeah, I play D&D. I'm a bardic druid, so I've got a point in bardarism, but then the rest are in druids because I like turning into things.
Cool.
So yeah.
Very nice. I think you were probably there last night when I was like telling Breakfast Tacos to like show my maps.
Yeah.
Were you there? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I took those. I downloaded that.
Oh, cool. You see all the maps? Yeah. I'm pretty proud of them. Like it was an interesting phase of my life. It was like 2017 and I was like really bored. And I just kind of sat down and made a map, and then I just made another map and another map. And before I knew it, I had like 6 or 7 of them.
Cool.
And we used them in my campaign. It was really fun.
They're very thorough. It's like, oh, you obviously spent a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what happened to the guys you were arguing with. I tried to make sure that everybody saw the landing pad.
Yeah. Christian was very nice and civil, and he was probably, at that point in the conversation or in the night, I calmed down a little bit too. I was a little bit less aggressive, but I just over and over and over again, he just would not want to answer a yes or no question. Like just the most softball of questions. Like let's just
right.
And it's really weird. It's like it's an interesting case study because it's like Christian, I think, as a parent, and I don't want to say this applies to all Christians, at least online Christian debaters, but it's like they do not want to establish even a single iota of common ground. Because once they realize that once you have some common ground, once you agree on one thing, you might just agree on 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then all of a sudden your faith falls apart. And it's like, just I did it with PMARS, and I did a little bit with Christian. Just coming to a single point of agreement, whether even if it's on like a movie or a piece of music, or hey, do you like the color blue? It's like pulling teeth to get to that point where, hey, we can both agree that Superman was a pretty good movie, or we can both agree that Shawshank Redemption was a good movie, or we can both agree that, hey, the color blue is pretty chill. Like, they don't want to even take that step because they know that might be a slippery slope down into, well, if I agree with one thing, I might just agree with a bunch of things with this person, and I can't have that because I need to defend my faith.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what's so frustrating. You'll ask a very simple question that's a yes or no answer, and they'll jump like 3 steps ahead and be like, oh, I see where this is going, so yes. I don't want to do that. It's like, well, that's a you problem. Like if you're at the starting line going, well, yeah, there's if you answer yes, then that logically follows that the next 3 or 4 steps are going to be like, well, you've already answered yes to this, so you and it's sad because they do the little dance and the shuck and jive, and it's just like, dude, where's this supposed to go?
And it is a demonstration that they are thinking rational people. Like, they understand, if I say yes to this, then I will be forced to say yes to this other question I know is coming, and so on and so forth. Like, they're thinking in rational. Their brains work. It also shows that they're dishonest. At least I think most cases, like, because when they detect that, oh, hey, my conclusion is in danger, I need to defend this and obfuscate, and I need to throw up interference and do as much as I can to resist going down this path. It speaks more to their dishonesty. It speaks a lot to their intelligence because they know what's happening. They're intelligent people. They know what's happening, but it speaks to their dishonesty. Because it's like, I said it tonight. It's like, if I have a false belief or I have a false position, I want it pointed out to me so I can correct it. And I don't think that's the case for most Christians. If their position of Christianity is false, I think that they want to ignore it.
Mm-hmm. And that I spent many years as a Christian minister, and I would often come to that point, but I was at least honest enough to answer the questions. But then when I hit that brick wall, well, the brick wall was just, oh, well, God takes care of that.
Yeah, that's the ultimate cop out. That's the escape hatch. It's like, oh, God, it's a mystery. I don't have to answer yes or no to this. It's a mystery, and it's like,
who am I to say?
So unsatisfying. It's just, yeah.
So have you, maybe you've gotten this question before, but have you ever actually heard an argument or a suggestion from a theist that's like, oh, you know what? Let me think about that.
Yeah, there's been a few cases about that. Usually comes down to, I've been asked a question I've never considered before, so I have to like stop and think about it. But I've never had a question that's like panned out to something that like challenges my disbelief in the God. Because I mean, like, I'm of the position of, okay, if a God is real and the God really wants me to know that he is real or it is real, it will know exactly how to give that information to me.
Yeah.
In a way that's convincing and I can't argue against and all that. And thus far, that has never happened. So I can only come up with a few conclusions. One is that God doesn't exist, or the other one is that God doesn't care to reveal itself to me, or that God, thirdly, that God is powerless, that does not have enough power or knowledge to do that with me. Right. And sure, I've been posed questions I've never considered before, and I have to like stop and think about it. But nothing that's never ultimately like, whoa, you really challenged my disbelief on this. I might have to like adopt your position. Like, that's never really happened. No.
Right. And I've thought about this, and I think I've got a pretty good answer to it. It's if someone says, how could God prove themselves to you? I think I've got it. If you pray for a God to simultaneously and painlessly switch my left arm with my right, and if I were to wake up one day
Oh, that's a good
and
idea.
my
Yeah.
arms were switched, if you told me I prayed for that to happen and then it happened, I'd be like, okay, whatever you're doing, apparently it's working. So I
Yeah.
don't care if you have zero evidence above that, but this actually happened to me. So, I can get behind that. And it doesn't, again, it's another thing where it's like, if the God is just an advanced alien race with,
Yeah.
advanced technology, how could you tell? I can't tell, but somebody said, hey, do this to this guy. And then it happened. So you obviously have a very powerful being at your beck and call. So, I'll change my entire worldview to fit that if you'll put my
Yeah.
arms back.
I've been kind of presented with like those types of scenarios before. It's like, okay, what if I prayed and X and Y and Z happened? And I will honestly say, like, okay, uh, I might not necessarily believe the God immediately, because I have other explanations, naturalistic explanations in my head. But I will admit that, oh boy, your proposition of a God, like, has just like entered the battlefield. Like it has entered the game. I will look at your explanation. I go, whoa, maybe he's onto something here. And my
Hmm.
confidence level will go from next to zero to, oh, okay, maybe 20%. And then if like another thing can be demonstrated to me that is invoked by this God, maybe that might raise it to me more. Like I'll be honest and say, hey, just a single one-off prayer and a miracle won't convince me. But man, it would make your God a player in the game. Like it would raise my eyebrow. Um, I will absolutely admit that. And I think I did that early tonight when I was talking to, I think it was with Christian, when I was talking about, we were talking about First Kings 18, I think it was, and Elijah having a prayer off with the Baal worshippers, and how Elijah won by God, lighting camp wet wood on fire, basically. And it's
Right.
like, hey, if Christian, hey, if you can pray to God and light this beer-soaked napkin on fire, like, oh boy, you would have my attention. Like if I was holding up to the camera too, I was like, if you can light this on fire as Elijah did in the old days, as what was previously used as a demonstration of a God's existence, boy, you would have my attention.
Hmm.
And
But
and then
at
there's
the
the
end of the day,
yeah.
that's still, what, that warrants further investigation. That's not solid proof, but it's like, okay, let's see where this evidence leads us. That's the beginning of an investigation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's the thing. Like, to adopt a new position like that takes time and lots of evidence. And if you can like get me one step forward and then another step forward,
Yeah.
that's what really matters. Because I'm going to be cautious. I won't be resistant, but I'll be cautious.
Hmm.
Um, and Insultus in the chat, he said Pine Creek, and that's exactly where I learned that from. It's a good test because it's established in the Bible. Elijah prayed to God and lit wet firewood on
Right.
fire, and it's like it's a great test. It's a
Yeah.
test that was done before, and then Christians will look at it today and go, well, we can't do that today because X, Y, and Z. And yeah, it's a great test. Yeah, I love it. I'm actually very happy that I was able to use it tonight, because I've always admired that uh that like posited that proposed test. And yeah, it was really fun doing it tonight. I was really happy to do it.
Yeah. And Pine Creek's actually a perfect example. I don't know how much you know about the guy, but he's actually a conservative, politically,
Yeah,
but a
yeah,
very staunch atheist. And I'm like, see,
yeah,
okay, it's a big tent party because atheism just means I don't believe in a God. That
yeah,
has nothing to do with Donald Trump or who I voted for or anything like that. There are atheists I know who believe in ghosts and spirits and some kind of supernatural realm.
yeah,
And we
yeah,
have plenty of hay to make out of that. But yeah, it's not a worldview. It's not an all-encompassing. Here's who you are if you claim you're an atheist.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And yeah, I used to watch his channel a lot. He used to do a lot more like religious discussion with people. he started shifting over to politics, and like you said, he's a right-leaning conservative, person. So yeah, I'm not really interested in politics all that much. Like I have my political opinions, but I don't like talking about them, especially publicly. So I kind of, I don't know. I'm still subscribed to his channel, but he doesn't really put out anything that I'm like super interested in anymore.
Yeah.
But his religious discussions, I was super duper into. I think I discovered him about, I would say about 2.5 years ago. I first discovered his channel, and I had a really good time listening to him. And it's fine. Like he lost interest in talking about religion. He's been doing it for like 10 years, and he's like, okay, I'm losing interest in this. I want to talk about politics. And that's totally fine. It's his channel. He can do what he wants with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like using his talking points. He's the one that got me onto street epistemology. That's kind of the conversational style that I like to go with. And it can be a little hard too. Like I was kind of getting into it tonight for the most part. Street epistemology is nice for like a one-on-one conversation, but when I'm on the line with like Matt or with Seth or with like Forrest Valkai, street epistemology is kind of hard to pull off because there's another player on the board and they're like always wanting to ask their own questions.
Right.
Because street epistemology is kind of like a more of a slow methodological deconstruction of a person's epistemology and what they believe and why. And we got into that a bit tonight with like Christian, but I want to do that more on my own channel where I can like, have just a one-on-one with the person, have a good like hour where we can just like slowly and painstakingly like dissect what they believe and why. But anyway, Doug turned me on to all that, and I absolutely respect him as a counter apologist and a street epistemologist. I don't necessarily agree with his political views, probably most of them, but I understand where he's coming from, and I mean he's true to his values and all that, so I respect that. But
totally.
Yeah, for the most part, I like his anti-religious or anti-religious, not probably not a good way, counter apologetic conversation style. I took a lot of inspiration from it.
And that's the thing. Like he's a very good debater when it comes to atheism, and he's debating a theist. But I was actually in his poker group for a while, so I played plenty of poker with Doug for a while.
Nice.
And what I've noticed is, and I don't know what your politics are, but I'm somewhere to the left of Lenin. I'm super like progressive.
Yeah, I would say I'm left progressive as well. Okay. You could maybe pinpoint if you like maybe more right leaning, like maybe when it comes down to like economics and money and stuff like that, I might be more right leaning in some cases, but I think socially, like social politics, I'm like left leaning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which totally makes sense. But what I noticed is somebody like you'd probably agree, a staunch right winger who very boldly talks about his support of Trump and this and that. But that's fine. That's his opinion. But what I noticed when I was playing poker with him and his other buddies who were on the same political spectrum, but were also atheists, their humor was always punching down. Like there was no like sarcasm or sardonic take on what was going on. It was always kind of just looking down at somebody else, and that's what made the punchline. And it's something that I've seen that's kind of ubiquitous in right-wing circles when it comes to comedy.
I think so. I haven't, full disclosure, I haven't like watched any of this, but like a certain like these new like right leaning like TV comedy shows, like the animated ones, like what there's one called Mr. Bircham or something. It's like put out by the Daily Wire. Or even like things like the Babylon Bee. Yeah, that's kind of like a punching down nature to it, where they're making fun of marginalized
Babylon
groups.
Bee.
Yeah, making fun of marginalized groups and such. And like I'm kind of torn because like I want to uplift those groups and everything like that. And I think those groups should have like a fair shot and representation and all of that. But there's another part of me that's like, well, I don't think any group should be like free of like be immune to any type of humor or comedy. Like it's okay to like kind of have a joke like aimed at some group, but it really depends on like what's the nature of that joke. Is the joke mean spirited? Is it punching down, or is it like just kind of a jovial, kind of like a fun haha thing? Right. So yeah, it really like kind of depends on like what's the nature of the joke is and all that. And I tried. I mean, it's probably about 2 years ago now. I tried to join the Pine Creek poker group like 2 years ago, but I read Washington laws up here that it's actually a felony to engage in online betting and stuff like that. It's a Class C felony up here in Washington. And I was like, as much as I would love to like hang out and like do this kind of stuff, and I wanted to like learn poker and like play against real people, I'm like, hey, you know what? I got too much to lose to lose stuff to a Class C felony. So I was like, okay, I can't do this, unfortunately. So I think I emailed him too. I was like, I would love to join a poker group, but I can't because I the state I live in is illegal, so I'm not going to risk it. So I'm sorry, but so I never like engaged in that, but so I can't really speak to what conversations go on in there, but yeah, I mean, like I said, just I got mixed feelings about the guy. If I were to meet him, like if I were down in Arizona or he was up here in Seattle and I met him, I would probably sit down and have a beer with him and have a conversation. Like I don't see a problem with that. But yeah, it's like mixed feelings because typically like you look at people and you're like, okay, I really admire this person. I love what this person does in these certain areas. And then all of a sudden you look at another part of their life and it's like so misaligned with yours. And you're like, oh man, like how can I reconcile this? And yeah, just like I said, he's true to his values and I can't fault him for that, but I disagree with him. And like I said, if I were if he were here, I would have a beer with him and sit down and talk, but I won't necessarily like publicly promote him or appear on his channel or anything like that. Yeah.
And the main difference is I wouldn't doubt that he's not being honest. Like he seriously believes what he's saying.
Yeah. I think he's he's absolutely sincere. I think he's absolutely sincere when he engages with people. Obviously his angle is I want to find a contradiction in your position and exploit it. And I think that's a good approach to a lot of things, and that's what I do in religious conversations. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think he's absolutely honest when it comes to those types of things. Like I said, our values misalign, but I understand his approach, and I think he's an honest interlocutor. I just think here's where I kind of think where it kind of breaks down. Street epistemology is great at analyzing claims about objective reality. Does a God exist? Did Jesus rise from the dead? Is Christianity true? All that. I think street epistemology is great at analyzing those things. Objective claims. When it comes to politics, we move from claims of what is to claims of what ought to be. And when you talk about like, social structures and what we should do with certain groups of people and who we should vote for, you're now going from the is to the oughts. And I think straight epistemology is not so great for that. Sure, you can like talk about like the data, you can talk about like observations, but what to do with that, what actions to take, I think that entirely comes down to our values, and those are subjective as compared to like, an objective reality, which, I think street epistemology is much better at analyzing. Yeah. So I think that's kind of where it breaks down. And I think maybe Pine Creek and like, Peter Boghossian, the creator of street epistemology, I don't know. I think that's kind of where they might go a step too far, is that they're taking this process about objective analysis of reality and then trying to apply it to what should be or what ought to be. And I think that's kind of where it breaks down. But that's just me. I don't know. What do I know? Right. I'm just a guy.
Well, and when it comes to that kind of hemisphere of philosophical argument, I always come back to secular humanism and say, well, I prefer wellness over harm. And 9 times out of 10, if I'm talking with a theist, we will have to mince words over, well, what is harm? What is wellness? What do you consider this? And it's like, well, okay, can you agree that cancer is harmful? And that's the kind of the breaking point, because some of them will be like, well, if there was a positive outcome and that's part of God's will, how can you say cancer? So we can't agree if cancer is harmful.
If cancer kills me quickly, I'll go to heaven. Like that's a good thing, right? Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, we have a problem. So, and that's, when you, surely, this, when you debate people, you're not necessarily trying to change their viewpoint, but the people who listen to the argument might have, a different perspective based on what you were saying. Yeah. And that's all I can do is say, okay, we can't agree on whether or not cancer is harmful. Ladies and gentlemen, tell me where I'm wrong.
Yeah. And that's kind of really where it comes down to, like how religion just muddies the waters, because like obviously cancer is harmful. Like obviously having a tumor eat you alive is harmful to you. But then a religious person comes in and goes, well, it's going to get you to heaven faster, or, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's what's so frustrating about it, because you have this worldview come in where up is down, left is right, right is wrong. And it's like, it's really hard to argue against that directly. It really comes down to, you know, talking about our values and talking about, you know, what is objective reality and what's not. And as was demonstrated tonight on Taco's channel earlier, it's like, it's really hard to get some of these true believers to really analyze and justify what they're claiming to be an objective reality, whether it be a God or the afterlife and all that. And yeah, it's super frustrating. It's like, I don't know. It's you think we'd be able to engage honestly in indirect conversations about this, but then this one worldview comes in and it just breaks all the rules, because it their source breaks all the rules, so they can break all the rules, and you know, we get this
Right.
frustration from it. So yeah, very, very hair pulling, I guess, is to what is to say. That's the thing though, like freaks like me enjoy engaging with people like this, enjoy bashing their head against the wall. I kind of liken it in my mind. I kind of liken it to like I'm a I'm an RMA worker at Texas Instruments, like, you know, like the overpriced graphing calculators from college.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like I am an RMA guy. I receive broken calculators in the mail from customers, and I got to figure out what's wrong with them. So I type in a calculator 2 plus 2 and it gives me 4. I type in 2 plus 2 again and then it gives me 5. I type in 2 plus 2 again and it gives me 4 again. And I have this weird, sick, like, obsession with, okay, I need to take this calculator and I need to get it to do the right thing so that when I turn it upside down, it says boobies, you know? It's like, like, that's kind of how I look at it. Like,
Right.
religious folks, a lot of times, like, when you're dealing with a person who has two different epistemologies, two different processes for analyzing what is true and false, it is like a calculator that will give you two different answers for the same input. And that's, to
Right.
me, that's just like fascinating. It's like, I just want to play with it.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And what my favorite thing is when people don't know I used to be an evangelical minister. They'll be like, all right, if you do this, if you read and you pray and you come to Jesus, then you will, you know, find this answer. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well, what happens if I did all that and did not find the answer? And your calculator reads 2 plus 2 equals
Yes.
5. Does that disprove what you just said? Because
Yeah.
I did all those things. And of course, they fall back to, well, you know, did you do it sincerely? Did you do it
Yeah.
with love in your heart? Yeah, bitch, I did this for 30 years because I was cynical the whole time because I wanted to
Yeah.
be Joel Osteen. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the outsider test of faith right there, which you're kind of touching on there, because I've used that approach on a few people, at least a few people at this point. You could say, okay, you know, a Christian, you just told me that, okay, if you have faith and you pray and you read the right scriptures, you'll come to the right conclusion. So hypothetically, you, Christian, have prayed, had faith, and read the right scriptures, and you came to the conclusion that Yahweh exists. Let's say they've got this other person over here who did the same thing. They had faith, they prayed, they read the scriptures, and they came to the conclusion that some other God exists, or your God does not exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I would ask, like, directly, what did that person do wrong? Because that
Right.
happens. We have people doing the same process, reading the same book, and they come to wildly different conclusions, incompatible conclusions. And that raises the question, what did that other person, if you have, like, Christian, if you have your position, you think your position is correct, what did that other person do wrong? And I've never gotten a satisfying answer for that. It
Yeah.
always comes down to the heart condition, or did they read this scripture? Did they read that scripture? And the ultimate point is, if you have a methodology that two people can use and those two people come to contradictory conclusions, then that methodology is useless. Faith is useless. Scriptures are useless. There's got to be
Right.
a better way. Yeah.
Well, that's why I love the Christians who come out against science or the scientific method. It's like, no, if scientist number one says, I came to this conclusion after doing XYZ, after observations ABC, and the second scientist does it, and the third one, and the fourth one, and the fifth one, and so
Yeah.
on. Yeah, we can kind of like gather around this opinion that if we do this, we get this. And it's very simple. But Christians like to say, well, that's just a religion. And well, if you're calling out your religion for being a faith-based thing that has no evidence, and then calling what we do as peer-reviewed science a religion, that's more of a you problem.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a, like I said, double standard there going on. And that's really what it comes down to. Like I think any religious position, there's a double standard going on there. Because I've yet to encounter a religion that the process in which the religion is known to be true is the same process that is used to know that anything else is true. I've yet to encounter a religion or a religious person that does that.
Right. And I've highlighted a comment from the chat. This is from Jessica. When assessing your own position, you're lenient and flexible and give the benefit of the doubt. When assessing your interlocutor's position, you're skeptical and doubtful and nitpicking. So, Jessica, if you'd like to come up and talk about that position, I'd love to explore that a little bit further.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that was directed towards us or that's directed like Jessica's saying that should be directed towards a Christian or something. But I mean, it could be that I am exercising double standard as well. Yeah. I would be curious as to what that double standard is and what position that is on, because like I'm an atheist, right? So an atheist atheism is a single position on a single question. Like the question is, does a God exist? And my position is, no, I don't believe one does. I'm not direct. Like I'm not claiming that a God doesn't exist, but I don't have confidence that one does. And okay, so Jessica was saying that was the royal you directed the apologist. Okay, yeah, so
okay,
yeah, so the apologist is exercising double standards. I would agree with that. And to be completely fair, like if that was indeed if that was directed at me, I could potentially be holding a double standard on that. I would love that to be pointed out to me if I was, because like I want to correct that if that's the case. But like I said, atheism with my atheism, I'm not making a positive claim. I'm neutral in my beliefs on a God position. I'm not convinced. I want to be convinced if it's true, but yeah, I do. Yeah. But anyway, thanks for clarifying, Jessica. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And it does make sense because that'll happen a lot. And you can tell like who's the skeptic, because the skeptic says, yeah, if I'm wrong, show me where I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the theist will be like, well, of course I'm not wrong because I've already been backed up by God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always the trump card there. It's like, oh, I got God on my side. So what do you know? And that's the thing. I think there might be I'm just kind of like shooting off the cuff here, shooting from the hip here, I guess. But I think that might be the major difference between kind of like skepticism and science versus religious thinking. Because in science, like right now, you and I are speaking over computers. We have worldwide networks. We have all these computational systems. When I speak, the data is being sent to you at nearly the speed of light through computer networks to reach your computer, and then nearly at the speed of light to reach our audience and for them to hear us. Like this was all built upon centuries of scientific discovery. And if scientific discovery does not work or it's false, you cannot build anything useful off of it because it does not work. Right. And like we're at this point now because of science, we know that science works. I might be losing the thread here because it's kind of late, but with religious folks, right? The attitude when it comes to, well, I'm already right and nothing's going to change that. That's the reason why nothing useful is built off of religion. Religion has not given us anything useful or practical. There's nothing in the world right now. Like when I get in my car and I go to work and I eat good, healthy food and I watch entertainment. I come home and I like play video games, and I argue with Christians online. And then I go to bed in my nice, warm, comfy bed with my air conditioning turned on and all that. Religion gave us none of that. Like that's all given to us by science, because science works. Science concerned about what works and what is the truth. Religion does not give us any of those things. In fact, I say religion is stuck in this loop of perpetuating and recycling falsehoods, because it doesn't concern itself with self-correcting. It just concerns itself with preservation of the original belief, and that's why it's so useless.
Mm-hmm. And I find it so funny when people will unironically post things like, the Bible is ever non-changing and so is God. Well, that just means when you have new information, you're not willing to adjust to it. So that's not the brag that you think it is.
Yeah. For some reason, some folks think that, hey, if you change your mind, you're somehow lack integrity, or if you change your mind, you somehow lack like authority. And it's like, no, it's the honest position. Like, can you imagine if we like watched police like start to investigate a murder, and they pick a conclusion first, and then they unwaveringly stick with that conclusion? Like, Eric was found dead with a knife through his chest. We think Korak did it. Let's start investigating. And then every single piece of evidence they find, they shoehorn into the conclusion that Korak did it, even though, Korak wears a size 12 shoe, and in my blood, there was a size 8 shoe. Or, the DNA on the murder weapon matches a female, and Korak, that's not Korak's DNA. But they ignore all that, and they simply say, well, we need to somehow rationalize this evidence into that Korak did the murder. So maybe Korak planted the female DNA. Maybe Korak wore like these false shoes that were smaller than his normal. Like all these rationalizations and jumps in order to preserve the conclusion, rather than being the more honest, the more straightforward approach of, okay, maybe Korak didn't do it. Maybe it's a female with size 8 shoes. Like it's just such a separation of process, and it's baffling to me. Like Christians taking that process and imagining that happening in the police world, and hopefully they could see how horrible that would turn out for everyone if that was the case.
Well, it's funny, and you may not know this, but sometimes the police do those kinds of things. And when they do, I know it's hard to believe, when they do, that warrants another investigation.
Yes. Of course, I'm assuming in a world where police actually do their job perfectly and all that, which is a fantasy world, of course, but we're talking about hypotheticals here. If Christians can posit an all-loving God, I can posit a world where police do their job accordingly.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. And I'd take it a step further and be like, well, there would be no need for police if you had like social workers and free healthcare and things like that.
I think that would be a huge. I think that would be a great step towards addressing the root cause rather than addressing the symptoms. And I'm a software engineer. I'm a DevOps engineer. I am all about fixing the root cause rather than slapping a Band-Aid on the symptom. And so, when it comes to like social discussion, I think more social workers, more mental health care. I would go out on I'm just ballparking here, but I would say probably 80% of our homeless issue in the United States could be addressed by simply offering mental health care to folks who need it. I think a lot of homeless would go away if we just simply had mental health care to take care of these people. Like, I like going for the root cause of the problem. Like that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. And I mean, the number one thing that solves homelessness is homes. So, with all the abandoned buildings and places that are just kind of going to waste, there's plenty of actual affordable, housing for people. And from what I understand, the statistics are most people who are homeless, like they missed a payment or they got sick this one time and they fell on hard times, where if they just had a place to live and like build from that, they'd be productive members of society. This isn't, this gets painted so often as, they're just a bunch of drug addicts and they just want to shoot meth into their veins, and that's why they deserve to be on the streets. No, you would have much more productive members of society if they could just get a little baseline to work from, get a job, and get back on their feet.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of folks in the United States, paycheck to paycheck, all it takes is one unanticipated expense to really just like kind of throw everything out of whack. Yeah, it's pretty terrible, and I'm fortunate in that, like I said, I'm a software developer. I got a decent, I got a decent nest egg going, and everything like that. Like I'm very stable, but I have been on the other side of that fence. Like I've lived paycheck to paycheck through most of my 20s. I know exactly what it's like, and it's really terrible that we have this condition here in the United States, richest country in the world. We have the money to solve all these issues, but we don't. It's really heartbreaking.
You went into information technology. I went into entertainment, and I'm in my 40s and still going, paycheck to paycheck. Like if I could just get back to that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I'm in my 40s too. And when I deconverted when I was 27, I was a tile setter. I was in construction. I was living paycheck to paycheck. And I think when I deconstructed, when I deconverted rather, when I like stopped being a witness, I was probably about 20K in debt. It was the most I ever was in debt in my entire life. And I told myself, I was like, you know what? No God's going to save me. I need to save myself. So I went back to university, kept on working, made some good choices. And I had some lucky breaks too along the way that I capitalized on, but for the most part, I like managed to pull myself out of that. And now I'm in my 40s. I'm fairly secure and everything. And a lot of luck was on my side. And I know that luck is not necessarily on other folks' side. So, but definitely education, knowledge, and a good opportunity is what a lot of people need. Yeah. And, I'm by no means special. I lucked into my situation for the most part. I know a lot of people don't have those same opportunities. So I really feel for them and try my best to help them out where I can.
Right.
But yeah, we need more housing. We need mental health care. We need. I would love just fucking universal basic income. Like Jesus Christ, let's just finally do it. I think every country's experiment with universal basic income has like been like very successful. Like this is a proven strategy. We have the means. Like just give everybody what they need for bare minimal survival. Not when I say bare minimal, I mean like roof over your head, food in your stomach, all those things. Like we have the means to do it. Let's just do it, and let's watch so many problems just go away just because people have a roof over their head and food in their stomach.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean that just crime alone. So many crimes are committed out of desperation. If you're stealing because you're starving or whatever. If you have a roof over your head and a stable income, and that's the other thing. If you're a public servant and you believe in the charge that government is there to provide for the welfare of the Commonwealth, then you go, okay, there are some of us who want to be productive members of society, but can't do it for one reason or another. If we enable them to do that, then they come back and produce for the economy. So it's an economically good decision, and it fulfills the whole charge that, you should be looking out for, as the Bible says, the least among you.
Yeah, pretty much. And like just like UBI would be great because we like imagine you can just really think about the cycle that's being perpetuated. Like we've had like discussions about school lunch debt, like elementary school students who are in debt because they've eaten lunch from that they food, and you'll have like Republicans arguing about how we need to cut these programs and we can't feed these students because it's giving the parents a free ride. And it's like, you buffoons. Like you are, if you are malnourishing kids, like forget the parents, like, okay, sure, slacker parents, whatever. I don't care whether that's the case or not. Who cares? By not feeding children, you are hamstringing them their entire lives. Their brains aren't going to develop. Their bodies aren't going to develop. They can't focus in class. That's going to have a downstream effect of these offspring, these children growing up into adults and not being functional members of society because they were literally malnourished. And it's like, who cares about the value of, well, we need to make sure the parents pull their own weight or need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. It's like, who the fuck cares? Feed the goddamn kids, and you won't have to
Yeah.
worry about this in the next generation for the most part. And like, just
Yes.
like I said, I like going after the root cause of the issue. The root cause of the issue of a lot we have right now are that people have been undereducated and malnourished. If we can stop that cycle, then a lot of these problems would just simply evaporate within the next generation. And
Yeah.
UBI will be a big step towards that. Not caring whether Bobby 3-year-old, or I'm sorry, third grade Bobby is behind on his lunch payments and can't have a chocolate milk today because he's overdue or whatever. Like I don't know. I think there's like a huge like difference in values there, where it comes to some people value strictly money and balanced books over what's the practical impact on children and on the future when it comes to these things. Like there's a big difference there, and
Right.
I can't side with the money. I just can't. I'm more of a people person.
Well, as far as it goes with like the MAGA crowd, I think it's less about money and more about, wait, you mean to tell me that a Mexican might get a free lunch when they didn't deserve it? Well, I
Yeah,
don't care if nobody gets a free lunch then. But here's the thing, if you force children to go to a place for 8 hours a day and then you force them to pay for their food, that doesn't seem right. So if we
yeah,
can start there, that would be great. But I just wish, look, I studied special education. That's where I got my teaching certificate. And there's just a very basic 101, education 101.
hmm,
And the first day, it's like, what is teaching all about? What are we doing here? Why are we doing this? And eventually it's like, well, kids are going to grow up and they're going to grow up in this society that we have. So maybe it's in our benefit to let them know, here's how you operate in society. Like these are the basics you need to know. And by the time you're 18, you're on your own. So best of luck with that. But meanwhile, maybe we can teach you how to interpret information and
yeah,
figure out how to live in this world. That's the function of education.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like especially, I'm guessing you're here in the U.S., Korik, along with me.
Actually, no, I just I fled the US once Trump was elected the
Oh
second time.
snap!
I live in Costa Rica now and I'm enjoying the
Oh,
hell out of my life.
very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife and I had like some discussions over where we would go if things took a
Like,
turn for the worse. Where would we go? And I think Costa Rica was on the list there.
oh, it is.
Um,
Okay, so it was New Zealand was first on my list, but that's very cost ineffective and timely.
yeah,
Whereas there's like an existing expat community in Costa Rica and just ease of access. So
yeah.
I have a fucking $10 million view of the mountains. I live in a beautiful
Damn.
temperate zone, and I take an Uber into town when it's time to go to the farmer's market and buy my shit for the week.
Look at
And
you.
I fucking love it here. That's the other thing. Not to digress too far, but I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
serious heart problems, and I just had my fifth heart attack like 2 weeks ago,
Holy shit.
and I had to go. I live in Grecia, which is like an hour away from San Jose, which is the main big city.
Yeah.
But even here, in a quote shithole third world country, I got free fucking health care. I went to the hospital. I said, I'm having heart problems. They checked me out. They sent me back home. No bill because I'm not on the Caja here. But that's absorbed by people who can't afford it.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
So yeah, whenever somebody comes back at me saying, "Oh, you moved to a third world country shithole," I'm like, "Who's in the shithole country? I have affordable access to health care when I need it, and I have a decent cost of living, and every week I can go to the farmer's market and get fresh
Yeah.
mangoes." So
Yeah.
who's living in the
Uh,
shithole country?
a lot of folks who think third world countries simply means like, oh, you don't have a Walmart and McDonald's down the street. Like that might be a little facetious and like generalizing, but yeah, like if you got your necessities and they're handled and you're living stress free, then yeah, who cares whether it's first or third world country? You're living a first world life. It's like
Yeah.
you're happy and you're healthy, or as healthy as you can be. Yeah, it's
I
a
have access to opportunities that I didn't have in the United States. And as soon as Trump was elected, I was like, I'm going to lose my health care because I know he's going to slash the Affordable Care Act, which is
yeah,
the only way I can access my meds right now.
yeah,
Whereas I can come down here and just go to a pharmacy and be like, hey, do you have this? And they do. And it's
yeah,
more affordable than anything I've ever paid for in the States.
yeah. Costa Rica is a beautiful country too. Like I'm looking at photographs here, like wow, just like tropical and mountains and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And I've,
I have an old friend. He's a technical writer at my old job, and he was born with a skeletal, like a spinal thing where his back basically like curves, and he's a very small guy, but his back curves really really badly. And I remember like when Trump was first in office, and there was the attempt to get rid of the ACA. And I think it was John McCain that basically like put a kibosh to that.
mhm,
To his credit, he was like back then. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Like I could lose my ability to go to the doctor and survive for a condition that I have no power over. Like I was born with this. I have no power over this." Um, and I can't imagine what he's feeling like now because Trump left office and it seemed like things were a bit better. Trump's back in office, and as far as I know, there's no talk right now about like the ACA going anywhere. But you can never know. Like next week, that could become like number one priority for the administration.
sure.
Like just I can't imagine being dependent upon meds and a medical system that can any moment be torn away from you, and you're basically like fucked at that
Right.
point.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And like I don't have medical issues. I've never had a heart attack. I'm 43. I'm in really good health. But that could change for me in an instant. Tomorrow I could have a stroke. Tomorrow
Mhm.
I could be in a car accident. I could fall down some stairs. And all of a sudden now I am dependent on the system to keep me alive. And then
Yeah.
I will be in that same boat of this could be ripped away from me at any moment based on the whims of some short-sighted politicians. Yeah,
Right.
it's scary.
And I've gone through that with the Affordable Care Act because there's been some fuckery in the years ensuing, especially if you don't like coordinate when you're supposed to make your payment or who you're talking to because the exchange is different than the state's version of it. And so
Yeah.
there's a lot of like red tape. And what's really funny is that like I'm on blood thinners, and blood thinners are really expensive. Like you're talking $1,000 for a pill bottle that'll last you a
Ugh,
month.
Christ.
And
Yeah.
down here, 6 months supply, $100.
Yeah,
No
because
insurance. No insurance. I just
yeah,
go in and ask them for my shit, and they have
because
it.
in reality, it doesn't cost $1,000 to produce that bottle of pills. It's just
Exactly.
simply the arbitrary price that these greedy companies put on it. Yeah, I think and here's the thing too. Like my last job, I worked in the healthcare system. On my last job, I was strictly a tech guy. Like I wasn't making like business decisions for the healthcare industry, but I was
Mhm.
doing technical stuff for them, and I felt so fucking dirty while doing that because I do not respect the U.S. healthcare system. I think it's predatory. I think it's immoral to hold somebody's um to. I think it's immoral to essentially threaten pain upon somebody unless they pay you. Like that's essentially what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I was so glad I got out of it. I've been in my new job for 6 years now. I now work in the entertainment industry, and I'm in a much cleaner company. um, but but yeah, it's like it's just so bad where your health is now a financial interest of some other party, or
Hmm.
maintaining your health is a financial interest of another party. Like it's just it's dirty. It's
Oh,
unnatural. It's just yeah, it's horrible. Hate it.
same with the prison industry complex.
Yeah,
You know, your freedom is now a commodity that we can charge you for. So
yeah. Well,
it's yeah.
I think the deeper part of that is basically like we have privatized prisons who are incentivized to keep prisoners in, to keep prisoners coming back when they get released,
Hmm.
uh, and to discourage new convicts, new criminals from being generated. So you have this system where their interest is not al- aligned with the public good. Like a public prison system wants crime. They want criminals. They want more people to be put into the system so they can profit off of them. And that goes directly against our interests as a society, where we want less criminals, less crime, all that kind of stuff. And again, like there's this conflict where we have this party of people who want to profit off of some social ill, and the rest of us who wants to see that social ill go away. And there's a conflict there. One is going to want the problem to stay while the other one wants the problem to go, and that puts enmity between us. Like we're basically at odds with each other. Mm-hmm. And I think, I'm not sure, but one day I think it's going to eventually boil over, like where people are like, hey, you know what? These corporations, it's a strong word, but these corporations are our enemy. They want what's bad for us. Like oil companies do not want us to breathe clean air. They want to burn oil. And it's like one day something might happen where it's like, hey, hold on, these guys are our enemies, and then something will happen. Who knows? I don't know, but we'll see.
See, for me, and that's partly why I moved here to Costa Rica in the first place, I don't know how bad it's going to get. I know it's going to get bad. But the question is, we're already well past the wealth disparity from the French Revolution. And that's when they were cutting heads off with a guillotine. We at what point is something like that going to happen, and how is it going to manifest socially in a society like this? I have no idea, but we're well past due. It's like an inactive volcano or an earthquake fault line. That's like, we're 10 years past this thing. We're going to hit like an 8.7 on the Richter scale.
It's like a Jack in the Box, and we've been cranking it for like 30 seconds. Exactly. Like any second now, it's going to explode.
Yeah, it's going to come out.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what happens. But I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I think here in the U.S., I think we're definitely a country in decline. I think we're on the downward trend, and I'm not sure if it's going to go out with a whimper or with a bang. But I definitely think we're past our heyday. I don't think we're going back, unless there's some fundamental change in the way our politicians think, in the way our corporate folk think, and the way that people think. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's going to correct itself, but we'll see. Who knows?
Well, and the only time there was like a little wait, we need to think about this, was when Luigi Mangione came out as the claims adjuster, and it was like, oh, we got to rethink all this. We got to like shelter our people and maybe change this to placate some people. There, like that started to move the needle. So I'm just really curious what further actions will move the needle further, because that was just like a blip on the radar where it was like, do you realize this could be reality, right?
Yeah, it really feels like the only like thing they would listen to is a direct threat against like the elites, like the corporate elites. The only thing they'll really respond to is direct threats. And I'm absolutely not advocating for that at all, but like I'm just simply saying, like, from my position here. Like Sandy Hook, we had grade school kids gunned down, and then like a week later we have Mark Rubio. What's that, Sandy Hook? I can't remember. There's been so many fucking school shootings; it's hard to keep them all straight. But we had like Mark Rubio defending guns and unregulated guns in the United States in the face of school shooting survivors. It wasn't Sandy Hook, because Sandy Hook was elementary school kids, but the fact that Sandy Hook did not invoke or motivate any legal change, I think at that point it kind of became hopeless. But no, Mark Rubio, he was like, he did a town hall, and he was face to face with a high school shooting survivor, and trying to explain to the high school shooting survivor why
I saw that.
And it's like so shameless. Like it just, it's not going to change. Like,
because he tackled he went for the jugular. He's like, how much have you made from the NRA? And he was like, well, I don't know about this. Okay, so
it was Mark Rubio. It was versus the one. He was a kid at the time. Now he's like a political activist now.
Yeah, David Hogg.
That's it. Yes. And I remember watching that back in the day, and I was like, man, this guy's like being face to face with a guy who's like, yeah, I was in a school shooting, my friends died, I had to duck under a desk, and that didn't move Mark Rubio.
Mm,
Sandy Hook happened, and that didn't move any politicians to make any type of gun reform. Like,
right.
what's the next step? It's the only step after that that would motivate change is a direct threat against the politicians' lives. And like I said, I'm not advocating for that. I'm simply saying that, like, you look at that and you go, wow, high school students dying doesn't motivate them. Children dying doesn't motivate them. What's the only thing? They
Mm,
themselves dying. And we saw that with the CEO of United Healthcare.
right.
Like, boy, that got their attention once one of their own got gunned down. Like,
Exactly. And
I think even United Healthcare, like, they had this new policy change in effect, going into effect that they canceled because they were like, wow, if we implement this, more of us might die. And now all of a sudden
mhm.
it's like an important issue. Like,
Well,
yeah,
the,
yeah,
even before that, we had Uvalde, where one of the cops, his wife was a teacher at Uvalde, and he knew she was, sitting there probably bleeding out. She was a victim,
yeah,
and still, like when if you don't care about your own wife, your own family, why should anybody else?
yeah, it's crazy.
So at this point, it's fair game. I don't know what else to say. Of course, I don't advocate for that, but if this is where we've been pushed to, where the only change comes about through some kind of violent upheaval, well, this is the world that you put us in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the kind of the natural result of kind of where everything's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's like so crazy. It really feels like we're living in just like this fucking bizarro timeline.
right.
Yeah.
So, hence my move to tropical paradise, where, and this is the
Yeah.
other funny thing. When I moved here, I had conversations like either I'm on YouTube or I'm on Twitter, and on Twitter I attract some real crazies, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But one of them was telling me when I moved down here, I would have to automatically pay dues to the mafia. I'm like, oh, well, that's news to me. So I just kind of baited them with a question. I was like, so to protect myself from the mafia, should I join the Costa Rican army? And he was like, well, no, you don't like, you shouldn't actually do that, but you're forced to. Like, you're immediately a conscription into the army. Here's what's funny: the Costa Rican country has not had an army since the end of World War II. It's been almost 100 years. They don't have an army, but
Yeah.
an American will just declare that so, and then after pulling that fact out of their ass, make a whole new reality that says, and here's what you need to do now. And so it's remarkable that there's just so
Yeah.
much ignorance about how the rest of the world works, and the idea that America is the only way forward is ridiculous when other countries have mastered, you know what? We don't
Yeah.
actually need an army. We don't need to have open carry. We don't ever have to worry about guns.
Yeah. And that's the absurdity of like the absurdity of American exceptionalism. You know, America's number one. We have the best way to do it. Like the general idea of oh, if it's another country, they must be doing it wrong because they're not doing it our way.
Right.
And yeah, it's 99% based in ignorance. Obviously, every country has its problems. Not every country has a perfect system. But like if I were to move to Costa Rica like you did, I would get better healthcare, and not be bankrupt. Like if I get cancer tomorrow, like all it takes is for me to lose my job tomorrow, and then at the end of the week be diagnosed with cancer. I am ruined. Like
Yeah.
my entire life, I have played by the rules. I have a 401k. I have a house. I have done everything. I pay my taxes. I've never once taken welfare or anything like that. And all it takes is for me to lose my job one day and have cancer the next. And now I am devastated financially. Like
Yeah.
that's not a first world country system. That's a predatory pseudo first world country system. But if I go to Norway, Sweden, Costa Rica, France, if that happens to me, no, oh, Canada, no worries. Hey, no worries. We got you. We're going to take care of you. We're going to get you healthy and get you back up on your feet. And we're not going to like expect you to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for it because it's okay. The community, the society is paid for it with their taxes.
Right.
And then folks will look at that and go, oh, that's socialism. That's bad. That's immoral. It's like, no, it's like folks who say that can't envision that such misfortune could potentially befall them. It's like a lack of realism, lack of imagination. Like any of us tomorrow can experience that type of misfortune.
But
And then when
I
that
love that.
happens,
Sorry.
what like what do you expect to happen after that? I've
Well,
seen so
exactly.
many. So sorry, I
If
just want to let me finish up here.
yeah.
I might be rambling a little bit. It's late. Um, what's his fuck face? Connor, that was on the Jubilee thing. The 20
Oh
fascists
God.
versus one conservatives versus one liberal.
Yeah.
Like, even though he probably was lying about it, when he supposedly lost his job and he held out his hand for donations from people, like this guy's like engaging in socialism, even though he harps against it because of his political views. It's like they don't imagine how socialism can help them once they fall apart hard times, because they can't fathom that they'll fall apart hard times. Hard times happens to the others. It happens to
Yeah.
the other people. It won't ever
Yeah,
happen to me.
it's the
Yeah.
drug addicts. Like they fell on hard times because
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
terrible
Yeah.
people. They shoot coke into their eyeballs. That's why they fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Oh God, I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's like 2 a.m. here. 2 a.m. and I've had like 4 beers. So.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we've been going for an hour. I don't want to keep you any further. This has been a hilarious, a fun little time.
Yeah,
So
I had a good time.
I'll send you an email. I'll figure out like what my highlight reel is, so you can look at it and maybe send it to Jimmy or something.
Yeah, sure.
But I'd love to, like, I have so many hours logged in of everything from the original Atheist Experience, where they just had a banner behind them on public access television, through the iterations today, and I've loved to see how that's grown into Skeptic Generation and the Line and the Hang Up and everything else. So that's a community I've been looking to get involved with. So it's been really nice talking to you, and I'll hopefully continue that through our mutual love of B.S. Lewis and Breakfast Taco.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, and like I said, I'd love to see like your highlight reel. I'll pass on Jimmy. I can't make promises on his behalf, but I can absolutely do my part to get you over there. And of course, I'm gonna be hanging out on Breakfast Tacos more. I've been having a lot of fun there. Like the last 2 nights, I get home from work and I'm like, I'm gonna play. I've been trying to play through like the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters on Steam. For the last like 3 nights, I've been like, no, I'm gonna go hang out on Breakfast Tacos instead. So, I'm not planning to go anywhere, so I'll be seeing you a lot more probably.
That's awesome. And the only reason I didn't make it tonight was because I was hosting a karaoke space on Twitter, and that it evolved into a karaoke space because I just launched a video tonight on my YouTube channel. Which, oh God, I'm assuming you have never heard of Andy Pants Gaming.
No, I don't think so. Andy Pants Gaming?
Well, you're lucky. So he's a video game reviewer where every video is just, here's why this is woke, and here's why Call of Duty is woke, and here's why Fortnite is woke.
Okay.
And all that shit. But he made his own video game. So when I finally got a chance to review it, he features his own daughter in the video game, and the video game is about how the LGBTQ community is trafficking his daughter.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned this last night.
So that launched today, and it's as bad as it sounds.
What's that game called? Like, did he publish it?
It's called. I'm so glad you asked. It's called. The title is Chad versus the Gay Nazis.
Oh my God.
Yep, it's bad. It's really bad. I'll send you my review. Like, it just dropped tonight. It's just a 10-minute video because I'm like, this is so fucked up. And a friend of mine's a sociologist, and he saw the video and was commenting tonight in my Twitter Afterparty live space. And he's like, this was just like through the looking glass. He's so full of projection about what the LGBTQ community is, while blaming them for his ills, because obviously in real life, his daughter and wife abandoned him because he was a terrible person.
Oh man. Yikes.
Yeah. It's crazy.
As deplorable as the material of the game is, it does offer a fascinating kind of insight into what's going on behind it.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
sociological study into
Yeah.
the mind of the right-wing MAGA grifter where everything is not their fault.
Oh, interesting. Well, cool. I'm gonna look forward to any commentary you have on that. I wanna check that out because I'm always in on the market for some internet drama. Yeah. The latest
Oh,
it's gotten kind of stale lately, but the latest the stuff on like with Pirate Software, I've been really following that quite a lot.
oh, that was interesting. I never would have seen that guy coming down that hard on that issue. Like, you'd
Yeah.
think he would be one of the big proponents and be like, "Yeah, stop killing games. If you're going to have it and it's a
I
single player game, let us buy it."
I think with him, I think he made an off the cuff assessment of something. Turns out he wasn't fully informed about it and he spoke too soon, but I think he is utterly incapable of admitting that he's wrong and saying, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I had a
Yeah,
bad take. I'm going to go back and review this and revise my opinion." I don't think he's capable of doing that.
yeah,
And that attribute comically is just propelling him to his social doom, and it's so scrumptious. Like I love watching it. It's
yeah,
like it's just it's like it's like watching a tragedy and you have like a hero with like a critical flaw, and that flaw just they can't escape it, and that flaw is their doom. It's
yeah.
it's beautiful. Yeah, it's like it's Shakespeare. It's awesome. Moi, moi, chef's kiss.
Yeah, because all these other like tiny red flags were like, oh, maybe he's an innovator. He's a video game developer. He worked at
Yeah.
Blizzard. He knows what he's talking about.
I I've
Look,
seen a lot. I've seen a lot of commentary and investigation on his claims that he worked at Blizzard. He obviously worked at Blizzard, but from what it looks like, he was not actually a game developer. He worked in QA.
yeah, it
Um,
was like cybersecurity.
yeah, so there's a lot of evidence that he's embellished. I mean, and obviously, like you become super popular on YouTube, you're talking a lot. You're going to embellish a little bit. You're going to stretch the truth a little bit. Every time you talk about that fish you caught, it's going to get an inch bigger and an inch bigger, and
Hmm.
like it's natural human behavior. Who cares? Like that happens.
Yeah,
But now that he, like I said, you mix this in with the attribute that he can't admit he's wrong,
yeah,
and now just the internet's descending on him like a bunch of ravenous wolves, and they're just tearing him limb from limb. Um, yeah, like I said, it's just delightful. I love it. It's great to watch.
yeah. And it was such an easy out where he could be like,
Yeah,
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 I was wrong, whatever,
yeah.
and then fine.
I jumped the gun on my assessment of this. Let's take a
Yeah,
closer look, and I'll give my more refined opinion. Boy, that would have solved a lot of his problems. But no,
yeah.
he's fundamentally flawed human, and it's gonna destroy him. So
So
anyway,
when he hits my viewership, I can actually claim some major victory because it's like I have the same amount of subscribers as Thor.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's man. I don't think I've ever seen a YouTube content creator go from nothing to superstar and then just fall like a meteor over Russia's forest. Like just it's
Right.
amazing. Yeah, it's like a piece of
After
history.
doubling and tripling down on something that's obviously, dude, this is an easy out.
Yeah,
Just say, oh, I got this one wrong. And all is forgiven. You can just move on with your 10 million subscribers or whatever it is. But
yeah,
no, like everyone's abandoning ship because you're just deciding to be a douchebag and not move from this single position that clearly the rest of everybody else is like, no, we all actually want this.
yeah. Actually, let's see here. Pirate Games.
Yeah, Pirate
Uh,
Software.
oh, Pirate Software. Yeah, yeah. I'm on Social Blade right now. Software. Let's take a look. See, Pirate Software. There we go. I'll try to share my screen here. Let's see. Share screen. Yes, I want to share my screen. Yes, I want to share my tab. Okay, cool. If you can pop my
Yeah.
there we go.
Got that.
Okay, so this is
There we go.
Pirate Softwares. Let me embiggen this.
Yeah.
Pirate Software. And now I don't have a subscription, so I can only look back, I think, the last
Oh
I can
yeah.
only
He's
oh man, only last
bleeding.
14 days.
He's
But yeah,
hemorrhaging viewers.
yeah. Subscribers, Sunday. 10,000 minus, 10,000 minus, 10,000 minus.
Jesus. That's a fucking 10,000 DKP minus.
Yes, exactly.
180,000. Oh,
last 30 days.
damn.
So he has I mean if you look at it though, like his where's his subscribers? Blah blah blah. What's total subscribers here? Let me look here. Pirate Software. Okay, subscribers 2.3 million. Okay, yeah. So that's a lot, definitely. Yeah. But in last 30 days, he lost. What is that? 10% ish.
It's significant.
No, it's one. Was it 1%? I can't do math right now. It's too late. But that's still that's a huge drop. Like holy shit. Well, a lot of views. You got a lot of views.
It's a very clear downward, descent, a trend, based on exactly this one thing that he said.
Yeah, and honestly, he'll
of controversies.
Honestly, he'll likely survive this. Like, I don't think he's gonna be destitute and poor, but boy, is he gonna. I don't know. Just he lost a lot of people, and he's gonna be forever tarnished.
That's the thing. His reputation now is just, oh, you're the guy who was the douchebag who doubled down on, don't kill games. That's kind of a shitty take on it.
Yeah. I don't understand his motivation behind it either. Like, I honestly think he just glanced at it. He formed an opinion. His opinion was a bad take because he didn't think it through. And we all do that. That's fine. But after the fact, he obviously has to have a much better idea of what it's all about now. And like I said, he's incapable of admitting he's wrong. But it's like, how do you look at that and go, yeah, if I buy something, the company that sells it to me should not be able to invalidate my product mere months after I purchase it.
Right.
It's like if I buy a car from BMW, they should not be able to disable the engine 2 months after or 2 years after I buy it.
Yeah.
Like,
or at least not shut down the shop so that if I need work on it.
Yeah, or at least enable me to keep the engine running on my own after they stop supporting it or something like that.
Exactly.
It's like, it's just such an obvious take. But like I said, just the narcissism kind of gets in the way, and he just can't. He can't get past it.
Well, and that's the most tragic part because it's so obvious, and it's like, how have you amassed? Yeah. And this constantly surprises me. How have you amassed this much of an audience without knowing like the basics of a social structure where this is going to make you look bad? Yeah. And if you're in a position where you've got these many followers, maybe reconsider. But no, you're just all gas and no brakes on this.
Yeah. That's like every once in a while, like I'm a small YouTube creator. Like I'm never going to hit it big or anything like that. But every once in a while I think to myself, I was like, what if I had 1 million subscribers? Like what would that change about me? Like, would that like distort my view of myself at all? Because if I had 1 million subscribers, and that's basically 1 million people saying, hey, your content is worthwhile. You are worthwhile to watch. Like, how would that change my perception of myself and how I handle, me being a fallible human? And I can't honestly say I know exactly how I would respond to that, but I can maybe imagine how, Pirate Software has 2.3 million subscribers. He went from 10,000 to like 1 million within a couple months. Mm-hmm. Like, what does that do to the ego? Like, what does that do to your perception of yourself?
Well,
and that might give us a clue as to why he is the way he is.
A big part of that is a lot of these creators take that jump because of a single video.
Yeah.
And that never speaks to who they are as a person or what their body of work is. If I had a viral thing tomorrow because I had a 20-second video of me, jerking off on a skateboard or whatever, that speaks to nothing about the rest of my content, but that being propelled into superstardom based on that one thing, if you haven't had to work for any of that, and that's just all of a sudden your reality, it's like, oh, well, I'm king shit. And if you don't like me, you can go fuck yourself. And if that's where like you're starting from to, propel your career forward, people who don't have that respect for now, I actually command an audience where everything I say gets, automatically broadcasted to millions of people. It's really easy to go viral and not have, I feel like I'm Ian Malcolm in Jurassic Park. You spent so many hours thinking whether or not you could. You didn't think about whether or not you should.
Yeah.
And now that you're there, you have a responsibility. And apparently nobody saw fucking Spider-Man and learned from Uncle Ben that now you command a great amount of power and you have a great amount of responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be the difference between a lot of content creators, the ones that like have to claw and scrape their way up to, big numbers versus somebody who just lucked their way into it. You could probably see a very different outlook and perception of self.
Yeah.
And also, like a respect of that, quote unquote power you wield. If you have 1 million subscribers, when you post something, you're influencing a lot of minds. That's power.
Yeah.
And it's like
And
understanding that power and respecting it and treating it with respect is what really differentiates people who I guess deserve to have that position versus the ones who don't.
right.
Yeah.
And I cut my teeth on theater when I lived in New York. So I have 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And that's a big deal because back in my heyday, to fill up a 200-seat theater took huge amounts of effort. So I can easily picture what 1,000-person theater would look like. And the fact that every time I post something, there's 1,000 people who are going to have access to that immediately, apart from whatever the algorithm sends out. And that to me is like, look, I don't care. And that's the other thing. Like Andy Pants, the video game guy, got on my radar because he called me Hitler for being an atheist and then bragged about how he has 250,000 subscribers. Okay, great. But I know what 1,000-person theater looks like, and I respect every time that I put something out there that it's going to go to that many people at least.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't exist. It apparently never even enters the thought process of most of these other content creators.
Yeah.
Well, that's my soapbox moment.
Yeah. That's my 2 cents. Okay. Well, this has been fun. I got to roll to bed. I need to go to work tomorrow and catch a flight to Detroit. So I'm going to be dead tomorrow. But
well, fly safe.
Yeah, thanks for it.
How long are you in Detroit? What's going on in Detroit?
I'm flying to Detroit, and then I want to cross the border into Canada immediately. Right on the other side of the border in Canada is a little thing happening called BajaCon. It's the Blue Water Atheist Humanist Agnostic Convention. So that's happening this weekend. There's going to be a bunch of speakers there. Some friends of mine like Forrest Valkai and Erica Gutsa Gibbon going to be giving parts. Seth Andrews on me giving parts. So I'm going to head down there, and I'm not doing anything like I'm just a attendee, just a guest. So I'm just going to eat some food, and enjoy the speeches, and talk to some friends, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, through 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, I once worked with the Skeptic, who worked with Forrest Valkai, and now I've got 2 connections with Forrest Valkai. He's one of my heroes. I really love his work.
Yeah, Forrest is great. Such a delightful guy.
Yeah.
I was down in Austin, Texas for the solar eclipse back in 2023, and I stayed at Matt Dillahunty's house. Matt and Arden, they offered a room to me, so I was there for a couple of days, and Forrest came over. We played board games. Yeah, just delightful people. Like, so fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for hanging out with me, man. I'll be in touch with you, and
Court.
Always a pleasure.
All right, man. Yeah, thanks a lot, and we'll catch you later.
Take care.
Bye.
And for everybody listening, thank you for joining us. And this is the end of the stream. And we'll see you in the next one.